Good evening, and welcome to the Position on Sports Talk Show Post, live streaming on Facebook Live, Twitch, and the Position on Sports Talk Show YouTube channel. We are a sports talk show made for the fans, from the perspective of fans, presented by lifelong sports fans. We will provide our opinions and positions on the hottest topics in sports this evening. My name is Big Reg, and I'm joined by my usual partners in crime. We got J3 in the building. What's going on, J3?
Good evening. How you doing? What's up, fellas?
What's
J3.
going on? We also got the professor in the building, looking real serious and studious. What's going on, Professor? How you doing this evening, my brother?
Hey, bless you, my brothers. Happy anniversary to all of our crew. So happy to be here. Let's get it. Praise the Lord.
My man Ed is in the building at a secluded location. What's going on, Ed? How you feeling, brother?
And I'm good. I'm trying to make it. It is a secluded location. It is a secluded location. Undisclosed. But yeah, it is. I'm happy to be here. Lucky to be here. Let's do this.
And Sense is in the building. How you feeling, Sense? What's going on, partner?
What's good, fellas? Happy anniversary to hosts and the crew and everybody. Ready to talk some sports with y'all. Let's get it.
Now, this evening, we will talk about college football. We will do a week 1 review and do a week 2 preview for you. We got to talk about the NFL week 1. It's pro football time, fellas. Thursday's kickoff. And we're going to start the show off with something a little different. As you've heard by a couple of people, last Thursday, the 2nd, was our 2nd year anniversary for Post. For the actual show, our first show was September 2nd, 2019. So the Post show is off and running. So tonight is the start of season 3, year 3. And we want to start off by first getting out some acknowledgments to some of the people that helped us get to this position. So first and foremost, I got to thank the ladies behind the scenes that not only helped create this show, and I'll get to them, but the ladies that allow this show to go on each and every week. And what I mean by that is most of us on this show are married. So in order for us to be able to take time out each week, not only the hour and 15 minutes to do the actual show, the prep time to do the show, the time we spend talking to each other, texting each other, and all that, we know that we could be doing other things that might be a little more productive for the household, but we enjoy doing this for you each and every week. So let me start off by thanking Miss Janine Bradford. We appreciate you, Janine.
Thanks, baby.
We got to thank Miss Brittany Williams, Jay Will's beautiful wife. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Brittany.
Got to thank my sister, Karen Somerville. Now, Karen, not only does she do what she does each and every week, Karen was getting in the car, riding to our first location each and every week, supporting us. Yes, Karen was actually sat down and listened to me and J3 do a mock show. I know she ain't want to do that. So, sis, I really appreciate you. We also got to thank my wife, me and my daughter, G. They actually helped us figure out a whole bunch of stuff. They actually helped us come up with posts. Colors, whole bunch of things. So, ladies, my ladies, I truly appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Some other big ladies that made significant contributions to us. Got to shout out Miss Darnita. Darnita helped create our logo.
Yes.
Which is now patent. The U.S. Patent and Trade Office.
Yeah, so don't touch
logos are patent. Thank you, Darnita, for your time and expertise in doing that. Absolutely. And our sister Kay for helping put that logo into real life and getting us some fly gear. So we
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
all the ladies
Yeah,
that helped us get going.
Yeah.
Next off, I want to shout out some of my brothers that helped push and inspire us to take this next step to actually create the show.
Hey, hold, bro. Hold on.
My
TV
bad,
time out.
my
TV
bad.
time out. If you
My bad.
doing women, you got to shout out Miss Angela. You got to shout out Miss Angela.
I ain't forgot about Angela.
Go Minnesota. Go Minnesota. Go Minnesota. Japanese means I'm sorry.
I definitely ain't forget about Angela. She's coming up next after the fellas. There were a group of fellas who have been prodding me for some years, pushing me and saying, man, you need to do this. Every time we talk to you, all you talking about is sports. Do something. Stop putting it off. But one evening when we were all at dinner in Alabama, this group of brothers, we actually game planned and actually brainstormed. And what became post, the bones of that started at that dinner. So to my brother, the 7-footer, the poet, my man Kemet, I appreciate you. Big Weezy, happy birthday, brother, over the weekend.
Yes,
man,
sir.
I'm sorry I couldn't celebrate it with you, but you and my wife are birthday twins, but I appreciate you. C-Dub, man, keep spinning them wheels and doing your thing. G-Money.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do I appreciate you for that evening, but actually coming on, guest hosting, doing some things. And the man that made all that possible, who unfortunately wasn't there, but really, really has helped us get to the place that we're at. My man, Big Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So next, as J3 mentioned, Miss Angela, aka A. Michelle. Thank you for giving us our first broadcast platform, for believing in these crazy two dudes that showed up at your studio saying, hey, we want to do this sports show. Oh, we never did one before. But we're going to figure this out. So we definitely appreciate you for giving us a shot to get this going. And we don't know where we'd be without you. Next, I got to go to the many, many guest hosts and our family of regulars that have come through. Start off by one of our originals, Big Al. Mm-hmm. Hey, brother, we always remember you. Looking forward to the day when your schedule work out so you can come out and talk some baseball with us and do what you do. As I mentioned earlier, G-Money coming up, taking the ride all the way up to B-More where we started this thing. J-Mini, you still part of this crew, but make sure you hit them books and get that done first and foremost. We'll be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My baby girl, G, appreciate you. When you come on, you bring a different light to the show. Mm-hmm. The ladies' point of view. Mm-hmm. You two ladies bring the fire when y'all on the show, so I greatly appreciate that.
They be killing it.
My fellas from Delay of Game, each and every one of you, appreciate you. You guys actually were a little bit of an inspiration because I know y'all started y'all's before, so being able to say, okay, it can happen. Queensberry Tony, man, can't wait till we do another boxing show because we get it in. Our buddy Chris, can't forget Ed's sister. I mean, we've had some great co-hosts in this thing that have helped add energy and fire to the show. So thank you all. And then all the special guests that we have been able to bring to you to talk about things, sometimes not sports, mental health. Mm-hmm. Get to talk about what happened in Philadelphia in the early forms of basketball to hear a local legend give us his story, talk about, what's going on with football. So we appreciate all the special guests, and we look forward to bringing many, many more in the future. But then it comes, my fellas. If y'all know what goes on behind the scenes to put on this 1 hour show each and every week, some of y'all would be shocked. So to my fellas, to help make this happen each and every week in some form or fashion, where we might have 5, 6, 3, 2 of us, I really appreciate y'all, because we've gone 2 years, haven't missed a week except for one, and we did that to support the Black Lives Matter movement. So we shut that down on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So we bring it each and every week. So to my brothers, Ed, Jay Wills, brother, you were always part of the show. You're handling your family business, and we understand. So don't even worry about that. Professor Jay, all you do behind the scenes, my brother, the technical side.
Yes, sir.
If it wasn't for you,
yes, sir.
Trust and believe this show, we still be on laptops trying to figure out how to get it on something. So, bruh, I appreciate you. Since glad to have you part of the team, partner. You bring a different element, even though it's got some LA bias to it. But we gonna leave that alone. We gonna leave that alone.
A lot of people don't know Sense is the photographer behind a lot of this stuff.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you need a good photo shoot, please check out our man. Hit us up and we'll get you in contact.
Thank you.
And then last but not least, my man J3. Without J3, this show would have never ever happened. Because I gotta be real with y'all. Your boy Big Red sometimes can procrastinate just a little bit. So without J3 saying, yo, I got a format for your show, and I had to tell him, I ain't got no show. Like, yes, you and talk me into going to meet Angela to sit down and talk to her about this. So, brother, I appreciate you, not only for this, but for all you do for me. So big love to all of y'all.
And those that don't know J3, he knows a little bit. He knows everybody. if you need something, or if you need to be in contact with somebody, he's the man you need to talk to because he knows everybody.
True story. True story. And if he don't know him, he gonna put the feelers out and find somebody that does. So absolutely. So my brother, network. True. I appreciate y'all, and we getting ready to get to this year 3. We're gonna get bigger and better, stronger, and we're gonna keep doing it. So,
can I get a TV timeout one more time though?
Yes.
Can we give a shout out to all our listeners, because they chime in each and every week, and we got to give a shout out to them, because I'm telling you right now, without y'all, this show wouldn't keep going on. And we appreciate y'all coming on every Tuesday night and listening to us.
Absolutely.
Amen.
And to one of our biggest listeners, one of our first listeners, Mom, we love you. Keep doing it. We appreciate you each and every week. BJ, hey, I know you're busy, bro, but we appreciate you coming in, checking in. Mama Carolyn, all y'all, we definitely appreciate y'all each and every week. And if y'all think there's something we can do to better the show, please let us know, because all we want to do is get better, keep expanding, and bring our views of what we feel in the sports world to the world. So thank you to all the listeners. Thank you to the fellas. Let's start. All right, we did that. Let's talk some sports. Let's get it.
Let's go.
College football, week 1. Woo! Started off on Thursday night. Ohio State. Ohio State's one of the quote-unquote big 4 that's always going to be in the hunt. Ohio State struggled. I don't know if y'all watched that game, but it took until late in the second half for Ohio State to take control of that game.
Yeah.
And freshman QB CJ Stroud ended up throwing 4 TDs, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. And they was playing a depleted Minnesota. So what y'all think of Ohio State?
I think Ohio State's going to be fine. Obviously they're talented. They're one of the 3, 4 most talented teams in college football. But we gotta remember that they've lost 2 first-round quarterbacks the last 3 years. And the kid that was playing was a freshman. I believe he was a redshirt freshman, though.
Yes.
CJ Stroud. But nevertheless, he was a freshman and really didn't get any, that much significant playing time prior to this year. So I think that it was a situation that he just needed to settle down. And once he did, which was in the second half, you started seeing it. And then the depth of Ohio State over Minnesota. And let's not forget about Minnesota. Minnesota, they may not win a lot, but they are very well coached.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once the coaching kind of levels things until the talent takes over. And I think that's what happened with the Ohio State. But I honestly believe Ohio State is going to be fine. Obviously, I think they're going to be one of the Final Four teams when you look at their schedule down the road. But it was probably about the game I expected. I have to believe it. Now, I will say this, a local kid that star running back for Minnesota, Ohio State really didn't start pulling away until he got hurt. And come to find out he's lost for the year. But it was about what I expected as far as the game is concerned.
Well, I kind of see it different.
Come on, speak with your chest. Come on.
All right, so with this, this turn of events, I see some blood possibly in the water to the point where Ohio State might not be that one of them last teams standing. I mean, they could possibly, but it's just going to be a tougher road because, as you mentioned, there's a freshman quarterback, redshirt freshman, but a freshman nonetheless. And I mean, while you have some wonderkin kind of freshmen who just beast out right out the gate, I don't see it here. And I mean, finally, this could be the year that Michigan beats Ohio State. Finally.
Let's slow down now. Slow down.
I'm saying, it can happen. It can happen. But yeah, I mean, it's just something that we should definitely pay attention to.
Did you really think Michigan looked that good to make that statement? Because I don't see it.
I mean, it's gonna be a good game. I could see this being the year that Michigan finally in a long time beats Ohio State.
So you're saying CJ Stroud is not going to get better. They're not going to progress more than what they did in this first game. Ohio State generally is that team that gets better throughout the season. And I don't like Ohio State. I would rather Michigan beat them, but just using my eyes and analyzing the games from this weekend, I mean, Michigan don't really look like they ready to turn that corner just yet. I'll talk about my criticism of Michigan later, but to this point, Ohio State, to me, they struggled out of the gate just like a few other teams we're going to get to, but I think all of those teams are going to ramp up and go in that right direction. I think Ohio State just showed the greenness of a freshman quarterback, but he still ended up throwing 4 touchdowns, just like Notre Dame's quarterback, but we'll get to that in a minute. But I do think that I agree more with Ed's argument than I do with yours, Sense, because I just don't think Michigan will have enough, and they're going to lose a game before they get to Ohio State. So I'm not really sure that that's going to pan out for you this year.
It's the first game, so we shall see. But go ahead, Big Rich.
Yeah, here's the general thing, because I took a deep look at this week 1, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it's just week 1. It was just week 1." I think this is going to be a very competitive year in almost every conference, because I think there are less dominant teams this year than I've seen in the last few years. I think the Ohio States of the world, and we're going to get to the Clemsons and all.
Georgia.
I think more of those teams are back to the pack, and they aren't separating themselves. So we're going to get some interesting college football throughout the weeks. Now, there's some that are separated, but we're going to talk about them in a second. Let's talk about Friday. Anytime you got to go to Blacksburg, Virginia, and play a game that's going to end at night, you better bring your lunch pail and you better be ready for a dogfight, because Virginia Tech is not to be trifled with, especially at night.
That's right.
And them beating number 10, UNC, was a big illustration that the ACC is not as strong as the preseason ranks put them, and I don't think they have a dominant team in the ACC.
We saw that this week.
Big Reg, what Friday night showed me, and subsequently up until last night, it showed me that dark clouds are looming, and we're going to get into this, but dark clouds are looming over the ACC as far as the football conference, because this might be the year that the ACC just simply gets shut out of the college football playoff, and
I hope not.
And it may be the first time that you see a 2-loss team, particularly from the SEC, that makes it, because of again, what started Friday night with UNC losing to another ACC team but unranked. North Carolina went down, like you said. North Carolina got defeated in Blacksburg by Virginia Tech team that has their own internal problems, but nevertheless, I think the big problem is the ACC is in trouble, and it's deep trouble.
Yeah, they had 3 teams ranked in the top 14 in the preseason rankings, and all 3 of those teams lost.
Yeah,
and none of them looked good. It wasn't like it was a good loss.
Well, no. It gets deeper than that. They had losses to FCS teams.
Yeah.
So it's and then again we'll get to Clemson in a few, but yeah, I see a problem with the ACC. But as far as that game, I knew to wrap it up, I knew North Carolina was going to struggle this year. They have Sam Howell, who is supposed to be a top 10, potentially top 1, the first quarterback taken in the next year's draft. And I knew he was going to struggle. We talked about this Saturday. I knew he was going to struggle because he lost 2 running backs that are starting in the NFL this year.
And a receiver that's going to get a lot of play in the NFL this year. Yeah. So.
Yeah, Coach Brown even said that his team was overrated. And I thought maybe I was looking at a basketball ranking with North Carolina being number 10. That was tragic.
Yeah.
Going into Blacksburg? I mean, I know they got a new coach, but that's beamer ball down there, baby. You got running up in there just doing what you want to do. And that defense was just hammering North Carolina. I mean, I was like, yo, they did not deserve that ranking. And hats off to the coach for recognizing that his boys got a whole lot of work to do.
Speaking of defenses hammering a team,
oh Lord,
let's talk about the most dominant performance of the weekend. And there were 2. I'm gonna be. There were 2, but the most dominant performance on both sides of the ball, because the other one was only dominant on one side of the ball. Alabama.
Lord.
Y'all say roll tide.
Man, that game was over in the first quarter.
Right. It was Michael Irvin's tight jeans he had on it.
And that tight jacket.
It was over in the first quarter. I was like,
what baby gap did you get that from?
Yeah, your boy De'Aaron King should have kept his mouth shut.
They were talking mad trash, and they put it on him. I was feeling sorry for him in the second half. I was like, they can get him hurt.
Keep your mouth shut.
Right. They even prematurely brought out the turnover chain. Oh,
Those are your boys, though, sis.
I know, dude. I have nothing to say. I have no leg to stand on today because
they got punished.
Got our butts like pummeled.
Luckily, they got a field goal.
And let me put all the college football teams, give them a warning. Never, ever agree to play Nick Saban while he's at Alabama for the kickoff game. It's your funeral. Alabama doesn't lose. I don't care where it is. If it's in Jerry World, if it's in Atlanta, wherever it is. If Alabama want to pay you for the first game, say no. Because you get Saban a whole summer to game plan for you, it's going to be a problem.
No.
And then we ain't even talked about the highest quarterback recruit that Alabama's ever had, Mr. Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
All he did was set, Alabama school records for the first time starting, throwing 4 touchdowns.
He looked so
smooth.
comfortable in that pocket.
Hold up. Let me interject. And they said the boy from North Carolina was the leader out of the clubhouse for the Heisman Trophy. What were they smoking? Bryce Young clearly is the class.
Yeah, he looked like he's been there before, Bryce Young. Like
he played really well.
But to put what you just said into perspective, Big Reg, you said he was the highest rated quarterback ever to attend Alabama, which is a fact. But now the next part, what I'm going to say, puts that in a little perspective, because the 3 quarterbacks that preceded him are starting Sunday in the NFL.
Yep.
So that's saying something. So that is really a strong statement.
Yeah. Alabama didn't used to put starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
No.
Plus, you got 4 wide receivers that have gone in the first round in the last 2 years that came from Alabama. So everybody said all the receivers are gone. The line is 3 new players on the line.
Running back,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Najee. Forgot all about Najee.
Najee, can't think.
People, what we do at Alabama is something totally different. It's an NFL team that happens to play college football. I'm just telling you. We don't rebuild. We don't even reload. We got people in the chamber already.
Next man up.
So as soon as that 5-star, you can't believe how good this guy leaves.
Oh, somebody ready to take his spot.
Let's do this. So, but let me get off Alabama. Let me talk about the team that I was kind of really disappointed in. And they actually won that game. No, I'm not going to
Georgia.
Oklahoma.
Oh.
No defense.
How can you just barely beat Tulane? And if it wasn't for you stopping the guy a half a yard short, y'all would have lost that game. How can you, after all the stuff they talked over the year, that they was going, this is their year to win the national championship. They got the best defense ever. They got the other Heisman hopeful in Rattler. Tulane, a team that had to leave their campus. They were actually practicing at Alabama. The Tulane Green Wave moved to Alabama. Alabama let them use their indoor facility to practice before that game because they couldn't go back to school. Travel across the country to your joint, and you barely beat them. And my wife corrected me, so I'm not going to say what I said to them, but their lack of effort and their lack of physicality that Oklahoma has is a problem.
They better fix it. They got maybe a year, depending on when they jump to the SEC, but they better fix it, and they better fix it fast.
SEC.
But I actually thought about this game after it went off, because obviously I couldn't pay 100% attention to that game because I was nervous and hyped up about the Bama game. But I did manage to catch some of it, and then I also went back and thought about the game, and I was like, there's Spencer Rattler, the quarterback, the highly ranked quarterback as far as the next draft coming up potentially and Heisman Trophy. He was throwing the ball to the other team. And I was wondering if that may have got him in trouble, as far as did they really seriously consider their opponent, the Green Wave. And I was like, well, maybe if they even took them a little lightly, that's still no excuse for, barely coming out of that game alive. And I was like, were they playing down to the competition? But the problem is, even if you have that mentality where you let up and you let a team even believe they have an opportunity to beat you when talent level allegedly is not even in the same stratosphere.
Exactly.
That's a problem. That's a institutional problem. And that's a reflection of their coach.
That's
right. The highly regarded Lincoln Riley.
Absolutely.
So, like I was telling you, Big Reg, on Saturday, I think that Lincoln may consider jumping to the NFL because they've been after him for the last 2 or 3 years. I would actually leave because
before he gets exposed.
He's going to have a problem, right? His star might get a little dim when he starts having to play the Alabamas, the Texas A&Ms, the Georgias, the Floridas. So we'll see how that works.
Hopefully this is their wake-up call.
Yeah, but I'd cash in. But yeah, since maybe it is their wake-up call, but it's been an ongoing problem. It just didn't manifest itself Saturday. It's been going on for a couple years.
No, it predates Lincoln Riley. It was going on when Stoops was there.
Yeah, but let me say this. When we watched him convert and really help the career of Jalen Hurts a couple of years ago, he made him into a much better passer. He read the defense a lot better. Give him kudos for that. But back then, he was exposed even then. If we're not even looking at Stoops, let's look at Lincoln Riley. So I agree with what Marcus says. They don't play defense. The game that they lost, Jalen played lights out, but the defense let them down at the end of the game. So this is not anything new with this coach. I think he's been exposed at least 2 years ago. So he should have made his jump a long time ago. Maybe he could be an OC, but he definitely needs to bring in a bona fide defensive coordinator or somebody.
They keep doing that.
He's on his third.
Well, maybe he don't choose wisely because them boys don't play any defense. It's sad to see an offensive explosion on one side and then a defense that can't stop the Tulane Green Wave from almost beating them in a game that they probably should have.
Yeah. But my biggest thing again was the lack of physicality when you playing a team where you obviously got the Joes over the other team.
So how are they going to come to the SEC?
Yeah. So.
Oh, man. Maybe you should rethink that.
Ed and Professor, your point brings me to the next game that we need to talk about, probably the biggest game of the weekend, because I see this as the same issue with that game. Georgia beat Clemson 10-3. And the only score was a pick six. So it was a total defensive struggle. Now, the other dominant unit on that field was Georgia's defense. I got to give props where props are due. That looked like an old school Alabama defense.
Kirby.
But there's a problem with that.
But that's a problem with that.
There's a big problem with that.
Because his offense, he plays offense to that defense. Saban realized that defense can't continue to win, and he changed. But he also knew that he had to change his defense to stay with the offense because he was going to go up tempo, which means more possessions. That means your defense sometimes is going to get on the field quicker so they don't have time. You're not grinding out games where your defense can sit there on the sidelines, drink 4 gallons of Gatorade and go out there and crush everybody and make it a 3-3, 6-3 game. Them days over. And if you don't develop your offense, what happens when they get into the big games? They can't compete on the offensive side. They play great defense, but sooner or later, these high-powered offenses are going to score 17, 20-some points, and your team can't score that. Kirby is in the same situation as Lincoln Riley, just on different sides of the ball. Lincoln Riley's a great offensive mind. I'm not sure if he's a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Kirby,
we can say, yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Kirby's a phenomenal defensive coach and a A1 recruiter. So he's getting the guys, but he won't change to let someone younger come in and update his offense, which means he's got to change his defense.
And see, here's the difference between, well, there's a lot of differences, but if in case people have forgot, Kirby's technically a Saban disciple.
Absolutely.
I mean, so he sat at the footstool, so to speak, of Nick Saban. But the thing he didn't take from Nick Saban was perhaps Saban's greatest attribute, like you just mentioned, his willingness to adapt. And Kirby had a front row seat in the national championship game in 2017 that Tua came off the bench and won, where he saw the future defeat him.
Yeah.
He saw it because he was playing that game in the first half. It was an old school Alabama, Georgia. What you saw Saturday night between Clemson and Georgia, you saw that. And then the second half, Tua came out. They spread everybody out, and the rest is history.
Exactly.
You know, the receivers start running free. Georgia didn't know what to do with it. Even the last final touchdown that Tua which was the walk-off to Devontae Smith when they both were true freshmen, the safety missed the sign. He didn't know how to react because it was foreign to him. So, like you said, Kirby's in trouble, and that's why I don't really take Georgia serious this year, even though they have an incredible, I mean, their line of scrimmages, both sides, are incredible, but for whatever reason, Kirby will not adapt to the times on offense, and that's going to be his Achilles heel, I think.
Yeah, to your point, Big Reg, and yours, it seems like the SEC, with the exception of Alabama, because they had head and shoulders above everyone else, is wide open. Because I mean, you like the teams that you once counted on to be there to compete, you kind of like, you know, shaky about, like even LSU, them losing to UCLA.
Why you gonna go all the way cross country and get embarrassed? And then you talking trash walking into the stadium, made a sexist, possibly homophobic type of joke, and then you get beat. Come on, man. With all the stuff you got going on your campus, and I'm not even talking about either. I'm talking about all the off-the-field stuff that's going to get you run up out of there. Come on, man.
Bad move.
Well, you got to understand, Coach O he seems to be one of those Neanderthals, and he benefited. People forget, Coach O has constantly been on the hot seat in LSU. They didn't even really want him. The transfer from Ohio State literally saved his job. So it's not like you know, this is really a big shock. And the rumors were circulating even before the season kicked off that he was on the hot seat 2 years removed from a national championship. So, and those, I'm sure those rumors are coming from within.
Yep.
You know, those are like the super boosters that we talk about that you never see, but actually run the program. So Coach O got to be careful, and he got to correct that, you know, get that ship right, so to speak, if he even can, or he'll be out of there. Like I said, 2 or 3 years removed from a national title. So
I think 2019 was the aberration. I think this is the real LSU.
Yeah, well, it very well could be, because again, they fell into a quarterback
Yeah. Almost all of their players were juniors and seniors. They put 13, 14 guys in the NFL that year. It was a perfect storm. So we will see.
O was just feeling himself, man. He remembered his days at USC, so he's coming back into California thinking he was going to do something. But yeah, he is a Neanderthal, man. He better get it right, or he gonna be without a job real soon.
And what we're seeing is Neanderthal coaches that won't adapt.
Yeah,
are not for long.
Randy Edsel. Excuse me.
Right. Oh no, he was gonna wait. Let's play out the season. He's like, "No, you leave now.
You leave now, right?"
That That was the funniest thing. He put out his own thing. I'm going to leave at the end of the year. Oh, no. You just lost to
Holy Cross.
Holy Cross? Come on, man.
Can't believe he was Maryland's coach, man.
You got to get up out of here. All right, let's talk to the big game on Sunday. Were you nervous, Professor?
Yeah, I was nervous. Because when Milton came in and he gave that change of pace and he went 4 for 4 on a scoring drive after Notre Dame was up by 18, I was like, this about to get real interesting because they were able to change the offense and call different plays that fit Milton more than the other quarterback because they had him bottled up. And then the bonehead play that the coach called on 4th and 2, I just knew the game was iced in. But when he came in and he led that scoring drive, because I was about to be like, oh, we running away with this. I about to talk some trash. And then when that happened, I was like, let me sit back and watch the outcome of this game. Now we talked about defense. I'm going to tell you straight up, Notre Dame's defense is trash. Other than number 14, Kyle Hamilton, who's projected to be the number 5th pick in next year's draft, because that dude is a beast, had 2 interceptions in the game. The rest of that defense is raw, green, and they just can't tackle. The running attack for Florida State was driving me nuts. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to let y'all go ahead. Those 3 defensive linemen and linebackers that Florida State brought in to galvanize that defense, them boys was balling. I was like, Florida State's defense is brand new. They were flying around. They were hitting. I was like, yo, this is crazy. And they kept Notre Dame from really opening up the floodgates because tell you the truth, it should have been 21-0 out the gate. Out the gate. That game should have never been close. But yeah, I think them not being ranked is a problem. And you got North Carolina at number 10, the way they look. Whoever makes these rankings is crazy because I think Florida State should have been in the top 25.
Well, I agree with you, Professor. And the problem is those rankings are based on last year. So it's all projections.
Mm-hmm.
So until maybe like the 3rd or 4th game of the year, you really can't get an indication of where everybody is at. But don't forget now, to Notre Dame's defense, even though a lot of their problems was not on the offensive side, so to speak, but they're working on a new quarterback too.
He balled. Yes. He balled. Mr. Cohen balled.
Yes.
And Florida State, don't forget, people want to forget about Florida State, but they had some turmoil the last few years, but they are in Florida, and they're one of the historic premier teams in the country, let alone the state of Florida. Florida State was actually the only ACC team that I was like, okay, I think they represented their conference the best. If you don't include Notre Dame as a representative of the ACC, a full time at least anyway, but they actually represented themselves the best, and that particular game represented the ACC the best out of all the games that was actually played or teams that played this weekend. So
I agree.
Like you said, Professor, I say hats off to Florida State. They seem to have finally settled on a coach and a philosophy and got some players in there that want to actually be there and do what they need to do to get back on where they probably should be all along. But then again, Brian Kelly, he got Notre Dame where they finally should be, perennially competing for a national title, and obviously if they were in the ACC officially, would be the class of the ACC as we speak.
True that. I'm going to put up to the fellas BJ's question. We actually talked about this before the show, BJ, a little bit. What y'all think of seeing these full stadiums? 95% maskless people.
Not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised. And
not surprised.
Kind of like surmising to the fact that we might not get back to normal till probably 2025.
It pisses me off, BJ. And let me jump in here before you go. Because the simple fact is, if you're paying attention to the statistics and the numbers around the country, we are now at a different number than we were this time last year. when we're supposed to be getting better. Hospital beds around the country are now at 90% capacity to people that are unvaccinated, right? So now we packing these stadiums again, full to the hilts, right? You know, there are thousands of people in these stadiums that are carriers. They yelling, they coughing, they screaming, they spitting, and you right there just taking it all in right alongside of them without any masks on. I know parents want to see their kids play. They there. I seen the husband and wife combination. Wife got on the mask, husband don't. Well, husband can bring it home to the wife. People forget that this thing is airborne, and it's not making any sense, because I know you want the money. You want people to have fun, but you're taking our country in the wrong direction, and we're going to end up going right back to closed stadiums and closed venues because it's going to be too much of a greater pandemic that's happening on us. And here's the thing, fellas. We're in the Delta variant. What do you think coming next? It's just like the flu. There's going to be another variant coming. We're not even prepared.
Well, BJ, to answer BJ's question, so for us to answer that question, we have to really kind of step back, because everybody that I'm talking to right now, that I can see, my co-host, we're all on the same page as far as vaccines, as far as staying cognizant of your surroundings, wearing masks, washing hands. So we're all on the same page. But the crazy thing that I see when I look at that stadium is, I just think that they don't get it. Obviously, they don't get it, because if you look at it, the numbers, like you were alluding to, Professor J, the numbers suggest that the group this is most affecting right now are you probably the demographics that was at that stadium, between 18, 17 and let's say 35. That age group is the young. That age group is being disproportionately affected by this virus now. But yet you see the behavior that's happening. And it's just a microcosm of what's going on, nationwide. You go into if you're out and about, you happen to go get you something to eat, whether carry out or if you sit down and decide to eat at that restaurant, you see it. You walk through any place. I'm sure we'd have a mask on. The likelihood of someone else having one on is slim to none. So I just think it's reckless. But I think when we talk about getting back to normal, I think we're actually in normal now. So it's not no getting back to normal. We're already there. Right. So that's the scary part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt I had two emotions. I was excited to see the full stadiums, and then I immediately got scared. I shared a quick story with Sense before we went on the show. Italy was the first major outbreak of this virus as far as a whole nation. And they traced that back to a soccer game, one soccer game that had 60,000 people in the stands screaming, yelling, because you know how they are in Europe about their soccer, or their football, as they call it. They traced their countrywide pandemic to that soccer game. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to do that multiple times every weekend throughout college campuses and pros. So, it concerns me. And one thing I can guarantee you won't see Big Reg at any stadiums anytime soon. I'm sorry.
No sense.
Love the sports, but I can't do that. Just give you a preview of some good games to look out for this coming weekend. On Saturday, you got Ohio State at Oregon. It's a noon kickoff on Fox. That should be a good game. I'm interested in seeing Texas A&M at Colorado to see how Texas A&M travels to a team that actually was playing pretty good last year, but they should handle them. Iowa State, we'll see. That's that in-state rivalry, so anything could happen. Your U is on upset alert, bro.
It's still the U.
They better bring it, because Appalachian State ain't nothing to sneeze at.
They ain't, but we gonna handle it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Coach Irv.
your Michigan point. Michigan, I think, gonna lose to Washington this weekend, but that's gonna be an interesting.
Now, who did
game.
Washington play last week?
They lost to Montana.
Exactly. So no.
That's how much I think about Michigan, but we'll see. And last but not least, Stanford at USC. So we should have some good games. A lot of the big boys are either off this week or playing cupcakes. So week 3, we get some real good games. So we'll start talking about that week 3. Let's do some NFL previews. NFL kicks off Thursday. Probably the biggest story that the NFL really doesn't want to be the biggest story. You got a bunch of players that aren't going to be able to play this week because they're testing positive. Some of them are vaccinated. But that's going to be the story throughout this season. So get ready for that. But we got Dallas kicking off at Tampa Bay. The world champions get to celebrate. Somebody asked for more Dallas talk, so I'm going to give it to you right here. They in trouble Thursday night.
Taking that
losers.
They in real trouble Thursday night.
I'm going to have a field day on you.
Because one thing I do know, Brady ain't going to let that team slip.
That's right. That's my quarterback.
So it's going to be real interesting.
Y'all in trouble.
Trouble.
What other games are y'all looking forward to seeing this weekend?
That's a good one.
The football team.
Naturally, Washington against the Chargers. But as far as another game, yeah, I think that's probably
there's 2.
Everybody.
Well, that's true. But I want to see how Cleveland, if Cleveland is for real when they visit Kansas City, because we'll find out. If that defense is so good, we'll find out on this weekend. And then the Monday night game I'm really looking forward to, which is the Baltimore game. Baltimore visiting the Raiders. So
they just picked up your boy too, Le'Veon.
Yeah, they had to because they got running backs dropping like flies.
Yeah. But that's probably what I'm most anticipating. Not even looking forward to the Pittsburgh game, to be honest with you.
They play Buffalo. You don't want to see them battle?
Really? Because Pittsburgh, their organization is kind of testing me right now, how they're handling the TJ Watt negotiation. So I got a little bone to pick with them right now. So we'll deal with that later. But yeah, I'm not really looking forward to that.
I gotta go Green Bay, New Orleans, because I definitely want to see what Mr. Discount Double Check gonna do out the gate. But I also want to see how Jameis Winston is gonna run this offense to break out the new year. So I think that for me, that's the most intriguing game to see if who that nation can ride behind Winston this year.
I'll also say Philly and Atlanta. That's my other game.
I
want to see what Jalen Hurts does. Come on. I want to see what Jalen Hurts does under center.
Like, okay, just say you want to see Jalen Hurts play. Philly, Atlanta, come on.
I want to see Jalen Hurts. Is that better than
Hey, another game I think is worth noting is to see New England battle Miami. Which besides the quarterback narrative between the two starting quarterbacks, I just want to see if New England is back, because that's a very good litmus test, because Miami potentially could be the best team. Potentially, I didn't say they were. They potentially could be the best team in that division. And if they are, I think this is going to be a real, because think about it, it's protege.
Yeah, it's teacher versus student, right?
So,
they're gonna smoke.
This is going to be an interesting game, I think, because again, New England, don't forget, had the most opt-outs last year. So it's just a fascinating matchup. That's a good game too.
And I got them smoking Miami out the gate.
Someone actually gave a crazy take of New England winning the AFC East.
It can happen though, Sense. That's not crazy. It could happen. Let Josh Allen get a high ankle sprain.
Hey.
I don't wish it.
But no, I can actually see that happening too, because the defense is coming back. You had players that were out last year that's coming back this year.
and they built the team to run actually their style of offense. And now they have a quarterback that actually run their style of offense. 2 tight end dominance. We're going to run the ball. You're going to throw the ball right across the middle real easy reads. And we ain't got to worry about the outside too much. Just quick passes. And we're going to let the defense and time of possession dominate. So it's going to be interesting to see what New England does this year. I got a couple of sneaky games that a lot of people might not be looking at, but should be good. Arizona at Tennessee.
That was another good one. I looked at.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think that the Titans are going to take a step back this year. I don't see it.
Not with Julio.
And Arizona, I mean, is the coach? The coach is kind of coaching for his job, because if they do what they did last year, he's going to be down at Alabama as a consultant trying to rehabilitate.
Pack your bag. Get ready. Pack them.
And
that's a bloodbath division they in too.
Yeah. And then Seattle, Indianapolis. Did Russ really get over all the stuff he was dealing with Seattle? And on the Indy side, what is Carson Wentz? The last time we saw Carson Wentz, he was a bum.
He gonna be a bum when the next time.
So,
He gonna know that line might save him.
Hurt again.
Well, that's true. That's true.
That line might save him.
It's just good to have the NFL back, fellas.
Yeah. That's why I said all of them for me.
Let me adjust my
Red zone is primed and ready.
Even Philly and Atlanta.
No.
Yeah. Because I want to see my man Pitts break out.
Yo, I want to give a shout out to ESPN for doing something that probably should have been done a long time ago. But ESPN is highlighting some HBCUs this season. They're putting a bunch of games on. You had what they call it since
the Orange Blossom Classic.
Orange Blossom Classic. They had Jackson State University with prime time against FAMU.
FAMU.
Defensive struggle. Both teams were a little out of sync on offense, but just they were on ESPN. And then they followed it up by having Fort Valley State go against, give it to me, Professor. Tuskegee. So you had 2 HBCU games on the ESPN, ESPN2 in the same weekend.
Yes, sir.
Come on now. If it wasn't, the Bayou Classic or something like that, you wasn't seeing that. These are regular season games. So shout out to ESPN. And they say they're going to have many more. So you got to give props to Prime, because Prime is bringing TV cameras to HBCUs. And hopefully with the Eddie Georges of the world and all that coming back to HBCUs to coach, we'll get more of that so we can see these young good players.
Hey, so what y'all think of Jackson State's new helmets?
I love
Did y'all
it.
see it?
Ooh, them things are sweet.
I like them.
I think they were slick.
That's that Under Armour money.
Yeah,
I think that's slick.
He also bought that Under Armour contract.
Let me also say real quick that this was the first time that classic has been played since 1967. So that, in itself being brought back is a huge thing for HBCUs. Yeah. And
right.
Yeah. And shout out to Michael Strahan. Michael Strahan laced the Jackson State University team with custom made suits for each and everybody. Nice. So when they travel in style. So
who is it? And he's an HBCU grad himself.
Come to the house, Mr. Strahan. Morehouse needs you too.
Good stuff. Good
small
stuff.
Small steps. That's all I got to say. Small steps.
Yeah, so hopefully we won't have another period where it's been years since somebody from an HBCU gets drafted, because they got good football players too.
Amen.
All right, fellas. Show 1, year 3.
That's right.
We get ready to put it in
the
books,
baby.
Get ready to put it in the books. So it's time for our final post so we can get up out of here. So let's start with the man, J3. What you got for us?
Just saying congratulations for 2 years strong and 2 more to go or longer.
Amen.
Professor.
Well, I can't go wrong with my final post. Now, you mentioned the September 4th twins, but my wife makes it triplets. Her birthday was on the 4th as well. So happy birthday again, baby.
Wow.
Denise, love you. Thanks for supporting the show.
Yep.
Yeah, to have 3 significant people in my life all born on the same day, that's crazy. So
that's amazing.
That's crazy. Ed, you up?
Well, I can't even get it. I wouldn't be able to get away with it. But my mother's birthday was on Friday, September 3rd.
Wow.
I know my mom's watching right now. So
we know. We know.
That's why I love your mom so much.
Wow.
That was my grandmother's birthday.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's Steve Hill's birthday. Great women born on that day. No doubt.
So happy birthday to Mom. Glad that we made it this far. Let's keep doing this. Just everybody, thank you for like Big Reg mentioned, and we acknowledged earlier. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Please continue to be safe and cognizant of each other. And we'll see you next week. Looking forward to the football season getting kicked off Thursday night.
Amen.
Yes,
happy birthday again, Mom. Congratulations. Since you up.
Echoing the sentiments of everybody. Happy anniversary to us. 2 years down, lifetime to go. So let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving. And on a more somber note, let's just give prayers up to Cedric Ceballos. Pray that he pulls through. He's currently in ICU with COVID. He posted something on Instagram of him, in a hospital bed with the face mask. And when you see that, that's not good. So let's just, put some prayers up for him and his family.
Sure. Absolutely. I'd like to use my final post to offer just a small suggestion to everybody. Gratitude. Mm-hmm. People do things for us each and every day. Sometimes we don't realize it, but often we do. Take some time out to tell people who do things for you, thank you. And if you actually have a little extra time, tell them why you're saying thank you. Because sometimes thank you's okay, but it doesn't explain. Let people know how grateful you are that they do what they do for you and that they're in your lives. If we were all a little more grateful and express to people how we think and the gratitude we have for what they do for us, I think this whole world will be a whole lot better. So on our anniversary, as we celebrate the people that helped us get this show started, again, I like to say thank you to everybody. I like to say thank you to all our listeners. We really appreciate you. We know without you, we wouldn't be here. So again, if you have a moment, somebody does something for you, just tell them thanks. It might make their day.
Amen.
All right, we'd like to thank you all for tuning in and listening. We appreciate your time and opportunity to share our positions on sports with you. Please tune in next Tuesday, 7 p.m. for our next live show. We're here each and every week, 7 p.m. Rain or shine, snow. As long as we got power, we going to be home. Yes, Professor.
See y'all Thursday for the post Power Play Fantasy Football Show, 7 p.m.
Absolutely. So get your fantasy lineups in gear because you got kickoff Thursday night. So you got to get it in gear.
Yes, sir.
If you can't join us live, we understand not everybody is available Tuesday, 7 p.m., but you got multiple ways where you can find us. You can check us out on our YouTube channel, Position on Sports Talk Show, our Facebook page, Position on Sports Talk Show. If you're a podcast and you like podcasts, guess what? Pick a platform, you can find us. All you got to do is put in the show's title. We're there. And if you want to get in contact with us, hit us up on our Facebook page, hit us up on our Twitter. Our Twitter page is up on each and every show, Positions on SPO1. We'd love to hear from you. Again, we appreciate the time. Have a wonderful week. Always stay safe, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Peace.
See you.
God bless.